Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a more in-depth look at a few of the upcoming daily crypto forecast predictions for the markets, and this is going to be focusing on Sunday, October 26th through Wednesday, October 29th. This is a combination of the cards that I received for all 4 of those days, and I just want to start with the 26th. On Sunday we have this wealth and failure came out together. So that told me that there was some kind of resistance. We might be trying to hit an all-time high, but things are getting rejected. And then Monday, the 27th, I got the failure card by itself. And so I clarified with another card and I got power. Now, to me, instantly I thought power failure. So that could be a disruption in exchanges or your ability to access them. It could also be speaking to the fall of a leader or somebody being removed from power. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. That's why we're here today. So then the following day, the 28th, I got these 3 major arcana in this order: death, the devil, and the universe. It's definitely about transformation, endings, and change. So maybe a rebooting or a rebirth of some process or currency. And then finally, on the 29th, I ended up with this card again. These cards, power and failure. And I shuffled between every single day before I pulled the cards. And if a message is repeating itself, then it must have significance. So let's dive in a little deeper and see if we can't get some clarity for if this is something we should be concerned about by the end of the month. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch decks back to the traditional Rider-Waite. It's interesting that I chose the Crowley deck for these readings, and they have different interpretations of the meanings, slight variance, but the fact that they list those words at the bottom has me concerned. All right, so we're going to use this deck to clarify. I'm going to say October 26th through the 29th. What is it that we need to know about the crypto market, our ability to access it, or is there something larger at play during these few days? Let's get 4 cards for 4 days. Okay. Underneath the deck, we do have the Page of Pentacles, the young page holding the coin. So it is focused specifically on finance and perhaps some naivete or new beginning, planting a seed, but there's somebody holding up a coin here. Let's see what else it has to say. The 5 of Swords in reverse on the 26th, something devastating, loss. Could be the end of a ceasefire or some political turmoil. Somebody's been fired, been let go. There's something departing on the 26th that may shock the markets. The 27th, we have the Lovers, well, basically, but it's a 2 of Cups. Maybe 24 hours later, they're trying to decide if we can put a stop to this. And on the 28th, we have the 2 of Wands. So now we have 2-2, 11-11. A gateway of opportunity, checking out our options. Is this something that's global or local? It looks more global, impacting everybody. And then we have the Star. Star is ruled by Aquarius, of course, Uranus, the unexpected change, also the age of Aquarius, the new era of finance, perhaps. We do have Mercury's caduceus here in the center. This is a man with a plan. So is this one. It's like, you know, they're both holding things in their hands, looking more closely. What can we do with this now? How can we mold and shape this to fit our vision? Of course, things have to be disrupted before they can be rebuilt. But the Star, it's a destined event. There's no changing it. It's fixed, but it's kind of a fitting resolution because in those 4 days, by the 29th or the 30th, we do see things turn around positively. By the 30th and 31st, like starting to rebuild. But this really does have me concerned. The 5 of Swords reverse, things being wiped out completely. The 26th. All right, so reached back for my Crowley deck, and this one fell down, the Ace of Discs, yeah. And it's interesting. I'm not going to call this a stock market crash, but October 27th, wasn't it? 1929, when the stock market crashed, and we're talking about this on the 26th. So this Ace of Discs, or Ace of Coins, pointing to something dropping violently. It just couldn't be held up anymore. But I think this is like a scrambling, somebody trying to come back together, or maybe, you know, the Fed chairman comes on with emergency rate cuts. I know those are coming at the end of the month anyway. But this could again be peace talks, some kind of trying to stop the bleeding, taking corrective action and to create this outcome in the star. Okay, I'm going to take a card from the Alchemy deck to see if we can get an overall theme as to what's going on here. And we have lead, number 20. So that's Saturn, obviously putting the hammer down. Restriction, difficulty, resistance, resisting change. The whole process of alchemy is to turn this lead into gold, which we have the Ace of Coins and the Page of Coins here represented as the end result. That could also be what they're literally talking about, like people dropping lead in favor of gold. Could this be the gold collapse? Or it's a surge in gold because everything else is falling apart. So I know we're already at all-time highs for gold and silver. People are trading in their currency for gold, or there's a gold rush. So the description in the book is density, weight, and Saturn. Lead is the first metal. Its properties are heavy, dense, and unwaveringly steady. It is often perceived as the metal that initiated the entire alchemical drive to turn what is base, lead, into what is noble, gold. It correlates to the planet Saturn and its love of rules and structure. On one hand, this card implies a fixed position or burden that may be weighing down the work. On the other hand, lead can arrive just in time to ground a situation, to bring an alchemist back to humble beginnings. Either way, the presence of lead is sobering. We cannot ignore it. The impatient alchemist may be discouraged to see it in the laboratory, as it reminds us how far we have to go. Approach this card with reverence for ongoing process. And underneath the Alchemy deck, we do have the card Neptune, and there is an ongoing conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is still retrograde until, I believe, November 11th or 18th, and then it's going to move forward again in the sign of Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, and will remain conjunct there. I haven't looked at the dates, but this speaks of deception. It's a restriction on our dreams, or like one foot on the gas pedal and another on the brake, not getting where you need to go without much difficulty. The vision you have is being corrupted or interrupted. Something's put a stop to it. It's like very touch and go. So do I think everything's going to be resolved by the end of October? Probably not. I think it's going to be an ongoing reformation process, but this could be a major event that shocks people or scares people off. But this is like, you know, people celebrating. They're toasting to their success. Like, look what we did. Watch them all run. I hope not. But I kind of feel that way. All right, let's see if I can get some advice for us as investors. What advice for us, Spirit, in this transitory period? The end of October, the 26th through the 29th. What advice for us? Don't worry, be happy. The dolphin. I love it. All right, so don't let your emotions get in the way. Stay strong, stay convicted, stick to your thesis. And underneath we have dreams, believe in your dreams. I was just talking about Neptune. So the dreams will materialize when enough, on a long enough timeline. But I think if there is any sense of false hope in the week leading up to the last week of October, then people should proceed with caution. That they might be taking a risk, especially with leverage trading. But I would say just hold fast and stick to your plan. Maybe take a nap, walk away, do something that you enjoy, that makes you happy, so your mind is not fixated and caught up in this turmoil. All right, so I split the archetype deck for another piece of advice, and I got the offering number 64. So interesting that they're holding out a hand, like giving something. But it says the gift, the present, the sacrifice. Unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it is time for something to be given and given up. Sounds like giving up gains. For the sake of the bigger picture, if nothing comes to mind immediately, though likely it will, take time in meditation, consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. I imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. So maybe if you find yourself in profit, a good idea might be to, when you take your profits, donate some of that to a needier person than yourself who is less blessed, or a charity. Because givers do gain, it will come back tenfold. And as a side note, it says if there's a gift you've been thinking of giving someone special, now is the time. Okay. So in the beginning I mentioned, the 2 cards, power, the 4 of coins, and the 7 of coins. In the beginning, power and failure showed up on the 26th and the 28th. And if somebody was removed as head of state or in charge of a certain organization, this could be, people holding elections or trying to find a suitable candidate to replace them. Let's get some more message from Lenormand. All right. Interesting. So I noticed the number 17 has been coming up a lot this year, and we have the star 17, and the cranes here are 17, the 7th prime number, 7 being the planet Saturn. And these cranes are rebuilding a nest. There's light pouring out on them. It's indicated by the Queen of Hearts in the bottom, the Queen of Cups, nurture, home, focus on home and family. Maybe this is your nest egg. This is, let's see what else we can receive here. We have the woman. We have the cross, the moon, and the flowers. Okay. So a lot of feminine energy here with the moon and the woman. Obviously, we're talking about moon cycles, and the 21st was a new moon. Our next full moon is going to be November 6th, so we're kind of in this transition period anyway. The flowers are often given for condolences or apologies or some kind of, that could also be the gift too, the offering. Flowers can be laid at a grave. Again, I'm not saying anybody's dying, but there is a cross there with faith. Some cross to bear, some burden. But it feels like having faith to wait out this cycle is what is going to result in prosperity for you. Not making irrational or quick decisions. Just it has to do with timing. So the time will come around, maybe when the moon is full again in November, that we'll see a resolution here. Why not get a Queen of the Moon card? Final message for us about this time period. Any advice for us from the moon? Change, the thunder moon. So it's a full moon, generally takes place, I think, in the summer months. It's, violent lightning. That kind of goes with my power failure theory. Thunder, lightning, storms could devastate an area. But we're talking about transformation and change. The death card and the world card, the end of something, did come up in the original daily pulls. So get ready for massive change. If you feel safer putting your coins on a hard wallet, maybe it's a good idea to do that. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you what to do with your money. But if some massive reset is coming or an outage is coming, I wouldn't feel safe trusting my assets on an exchange. But yeah, there's the theme of rebuilding showing up again, especially, like I said, the 30th, the following day, we have the Princess of Wands, and I think the Ace of Discs show up because it's starting a new cycle. Okay, I think that's everything I needed to share with you. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this reading and my daily market predictions. If so, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, Gary.